This video was very kindly sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakura Co.
Oh, you record? I thought you were getting.
No.
Is this on? Yep, okay. So I just woke up and I just grabbed my recorder because I thought I should tell you about my dream before I forget it. We were all living in this cloud kingdom and you guys were there, but you guys looked like Sumiko Gurashi characters and I was Molang. And the people who were in charge were, you know that episode from SpongeBob where Squidward got smothered in cement? But anyway, in this world, Earth is just abandoned or whatever. Like, people still live there, but most people just live up in clouds. So if you lived in the clouds, it means that you're like a super happy, healthy person. But apparently, these like Squidward characters, whenever something bad happened to you, they would delete your memories so you wouldn't remember them, and that would make you not sad. Does that make sense? I'm still so disoriented, but I hope that makes sense. And I was, again, Molang, and I was in charge of, like, the gates. But we were a lot, there were a lot of Molangs, but I was one of them, and, Sumiko Gurashi character, which apparently in my dream was like, you guys, oh, I think I said that already, but anyway, one of you said that, hey, like, they're deleting our memories and stuff, that's why, like, sometimes when you remember things, you kind of black out or whatever, and I was like, oh, you're not really, like, aren't you, like, happy here or whatever, because I didn't know my memories got deleted as well, but, like, a group of you were like giving me proof and stuff, and I was like, oh, I gotta report this to the person in charge, and like the top person was Michael from The Office. This is such a stupid dream, but I told him like, hey, like, look at all this evidence and stuff, and like we were like forming a revolution. Is it called a revolution? We were going against like these Squidward characters, but because we were doing that, we were like seen as ungrateful or something, so they like dropped us down back to Earth. But when we got down there, we ended up helping other people, but these people weren't really people, they were cats. But like cartoon cats, I don't know what made me dream of this. For some reason there was a giraffe there. I have no idea what's happening. But anyway, we went down there and we like built this building where people could like recover their memories from when they were in the cloud kingdom or whatever. Right before I woke up, the last thing I remember from the dream was I was getting ice cream with Michael. So, yeah. Yeah. And I woke up and I grabbed my recorder and here I am telling you about what just happened in my dream. I get like really weird dreams a lot, but this time you guys were there, so I thought I should tell you. But also you guys were, again, Sumiko Gurashi. Anyway, yeah.
싸게 더 의미하게 나의 아니 자주 나
Hello! It's been a while, and because of that, I hope you forgive me if this part of the video gets a bit long, but anyway, everyone, meet another one of my characters, Nori. She's a little eccentric, maybe kind of dramatic. I sound like I'm sugarcoating, but that's exactly what's happening. She likes fashion. She's very specific with how she likes her coffee. She might look like an overconfident social butterfly who flirts for fun to most people, but she's actually a very caring, open-minded, and understanding person. Plus, she makes really good guacamole. That's probably the only thing she knows how to do right in the kitchen, but I think we're allowed to give her credit for that. I'm pretty sure I have her personality down. I know what she's like on a Tuesday. I know what flavor she'd choose if she went to an ice cream shop, but I'm not super settled on her appearance. There's a high chance I might keep changing her design, but nothing's really clicking that well for me at the moment. I think I'm gonna keep the green palette and sunglasses though. I think they're pretty on brand for Nori, but yeah. Don't get used to her face and her outfit just yet. I might decide to change it later on. Yeah. Anyways, back to our usual discussion. What I've been reading and watching lately. So, books. I am very glad to say that I actually have a few to talk to you about this time. I hope you're proud of me. I've been in a reading slump since early this year. I've been going through all your book recommendations. I actually have them listed on my Notion. First up, I finished Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman. This is the second book of the Arc of a Scythe trilogy. This sequel was so much better than the first book. And I think that says quite a lot because I actually really loved the first book. In this world, humanity has advanced to a point where misery, pain, sickness, hunger, and even mortality are taken care of. And to keep the balance, there's this group of people ordained to glean you, or basically take your life to keep the population at bay, and these people are called scythes. So we followed two main protagonists, Citra and Rowan, and they were both chosen to become apprentices of a scythe, and basically the story goes on from there. I'm trying so hard not to spoil anything, but now that I've read the second book and I'm almost done with the third one, the world really expanded a lot in a way that I didn't really expect it to. It's kind of hard to expect anything from the series really because, well, one, the characters are very intelligent and they're the type of characters that don't really share much with the reader. I personally really love that though because it stops me from guessing what comes next. So when there's a plot twist, I'm really taken by surprise. As I'm recording this, I'm just a few pages away from finishing the third book, and I already know that I have many good things to say when I finish this trilogy. Next, I read Neon Gods by Katie Robert. I saw this on TikTok and it was just one of those impulse reads, you know what I mean? This is basically a retelling of Hades and Persephone, but it's set in the real world. The setting wasn't what I was expecting, to be honest, and it was a lot steamier and spicier than I thought it would be. So with that said, please don't pick this up if you're under the age of 18, just to be safe. I thought it would have more magic and fantasy elements, but they were all human. The main characters, I think they had fun chemistry, and yeah. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, I finally read this one. So many of you have recommended it to me, and honestly, thank you so much. Yeah, I loved it. I genuinely did. It made me feel so cozy and so warm and so fuzzy. I'm getting ahead of myself. I didn't even explain what this book was about. This is an assortment of short stories all set in this cafe that is rumored to take you back in time. But in order for that to happen, you have to follow a bunch of really pesky rules. You're not allowed to meet anyone who has never visited the cafe. You can't really change the present after you go back back in time. You also have to sit on a very specific chair in the cafe, but a ghost sits there most of the time, so you have to wait for her to go to the restroom so you can sneak in. You're not allowed to leave the seat when you're back in time, and you have to finish your cup of coffee before it gets cold, or else you will turn into the ghost. So yeah, I read this book without really knowing any of that because the copy I got had just a snippet at the back. I didn't really bother to read the inside part of the cover, but I think that added to the experience, so it was fine. I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I don't read a lot of magical realism. I have a few times before, but they just never clicked with me as well as this one, so I guess I just haven't been reading the right books. Yeah, I've actually been going out of the genres I usually read, and I feel like I'm learning so much more about myself, and it's interesting. Anyway, next, People from My Neighborhood by Hiromi Kawakami. I'm sorry if I didn't say her name right. This is so short. It has a lot of chapters, and each one is about every person in this neighborhood. The stories kind of intertwine with one another sometimes, really didn't have much of a plot. It's an odd little book, and it might not be for everyone, but I found it pretty interesting. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Lastly, we have The Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris. I read this because, well, the author is Neil Patrick Harris. If you don't know him, he played Barney in How I Met Your Mother. I was so curious about what kind of stories he'd write. This is his first ever book series, I believe. I could be wrong though, so don't quote me on that. This is a middle grade series, and the first book follows a boy named Carter who ran away from his nasty uncle and bumps into a couple of like-minded illusionists. That's where the story starts. It's lighthearted, very cozy and witty, a lot of dry humor, which I love in books. It kind of reminds me of Lemony Snicket. The narrator interrupts the story a lot to talk to you. There's a bunch of puzzles and magic tutorials throughout the book, so I think that was really cute. But yeah, it was nice. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. At the moment, I don't have comics or anime to mention because I've just been, well, reading and watching films and dramas. So let's move on to that. Sea Beast. Despite my crippling fear of drowning and unidentified creatures, I love everything related to the ocean and whatever's in it. This was so much more than just a sea monster story though. It said a lot about truth and history and such, and I think the movie did a really great job with that actually. Plus, the art is like top tier. Oh my gosh, I've been very diligently following The Alchemy of Souls on Netflix, and I don't usually follow series in real time. I always prefer waiting until it's finished because I'm very impatient, but this time I couldn't resist. It's a historical fantasy romance mystery drama. I just love the characters and the chemistry they all have with each other, and I find it so funny. I ship everyone here. It's ridiculous. Thank goodness I don't have second lead syndrome though, because as cute as I find them, I'm pretty set on the main leads. I think they work well together. I have no idea how it's gonna end though. I just hope no one I like dies, because that's gonna be such a bummer. If you're watching this, please let me know like your thoughts on everything so far. The next K-drama I watched was Shooting Stars. I think that's what it's called. This is like a strangers to enemies to friends to enemies to lovers. It's really fun. They have really good chemistry. And this is one of those series that has multiple stories in one drama. And I personally really like that. Keeps things interesting, and the more fluff, the better, you know? I think that's all I have to mention. If I forgot anything, I'll make sure to mention them in the next chat. I might do another drawing video where I talk about books again. We'll see. I haven't done that in a long while, so maybe it's time. Anyways, let me know what you've been reading, what you've been watching, how you've been doing lately. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video whenever that may be. Bye!